Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week of Weekly Controversies. I am not exactly Tony. I am the Golden One. Tony has decided to take himself off for 2 weeks because he couldn't be ours. But that is just Tony. We know how controversial he is. I am the Golden One, Golden Rob Gold. Joining me this week is my beautiful tag team partner in Jay O'Brien. Jay O'Brien, welcome once again to a fantastic week.
I don't think we're going to be tag team partners now in this episode because you, of course, got Sammy Doyle, you got Sammy D in your t-shirt, and I've got what is going to be the OTT World Heavyweight Champion in Dirty Barry B. Cool himself. You can have your belt all you want. It's not going around the waist of Sam. It's not happening at Scrapper. It's going to be in B. Cool's lovely, beautiful shoulder. But honestly, thanks for the induction. Thanks for I was just actually gonna say it's weird that it's just actually the two of us in this episode. Mark is not here, Tony's away. It's gonna be interesting. It's different actually, I think, which I'm actually excited for.
Yeah, I'm really it'd be interesting to see how this week plays out, but we will do what we do best, and that is be controversial, because that is what we are all about. Being controversial. You have your say, I have my say, which is always right because the Golden One never lies.
All right, Toy Claude.
I am the gimmick stealer for a reason, and that is why.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you have to steal everyone's gimmick. You're stealing the fucking Wyatt Six gimmick at this rate as well.
I'll steal Martin's gimmick if he's not too careful too.
Yeah. Do you know what's actually funny? This is more of a versus episode, which we've never done before. It's really like because you're a big Draw fan, and I was a Draw fan until, they betrayed my beautiful Dirty Barry. And it's really like this episode is the OTT Sanity episode, and I know you're going to get into the matches, but this show was the last show before ScrapperMania, which is in like 4 weeks' time, which is going to come quick.
It's going to become very, very quick, and that's the beauty of it. The fact that we'll have Sanity, which we are going to be talking about on this week's episode, and that which is the last stop before ScrapperMania, and we cannot wait to see how it goes. Absolutely cannot wait for it. If you haven't tickets, folks, get them quick because they will be selling out very, very soon. There's no doubt about it. Because if anyone has watched Sanity or who was ever at the show, knows what exactly is going to go down at ScrapperMania.
Well, yeah, if it's not sold out from the time we're recording now, because I actually got my ticket today, if it's not sold out from when you're watching this on the Monday, do get it because you don't want to miss it, especially after Sanity, which was for the ending anyway, pretty exciting. Yeah, honestly, it's a show you don't want to miss. So honestly, get your tickets, bring your friends, bring your family, and you will have an absolutely amazing time.
Exactly. So, as I say, we are here to talk about Sanity, and you know what? We will get stuck straight in to the action, and a really good match to kick things off with Sanity. And I have to say, it was probably one of the best matches I've seen for quite some time between these two guys, and you can see how and why Cian Noonan is one of the most talked about young and upcoming Irish wrestlers in this world today.
Yeah, he definitely is. I've been raving about this kid from when I first saw him against Robbie X, and yeah, he did lose that match, but for his first OTT match in his debut in Belfast, I was so impressed. I was like, man, this kid can do a lot of things. He can really be something massive in the next couple of years. And he has actually explored himself in other promotions as well. You see them at Hard Knocks, having a match with Sammy D for the Hard Knocks Championship, and how amazing that match was. And even in particular in this match as well, with your man, I can't pronounce his name, but is it Cordo or something like that, from the Hype Dogs? So that was a great match. And do you know what? I think it was the fact that Cordo is a tag team wrestler. He's come in, just to have a match with Cian Noonan, and he didn't really need to win. It was a good win for him, don't get me wrong, but I just think Cian Noonan needed that win because it's all well and good to have a superstar or like a wrestler in Keane Noonan who has so much potential and can do so many big things in the Irish scene in the next couple of years. But you need to build that, and he needs to build the momentum. And at the moment, from what I've seen in the last couple of months, it's been very, hit and miss for him. And this win could have been massive for him, but he didn't get it. But yeah, listen, yeah, he's a young kid. He has so many years ahead of him, so he will, definitely get, some momentum in the future.
Very, very much so. And the fact that, like, as you say there, the fact that he has wrestled for the Hard Knocks Championship before, taking on Sammy D, he has had other matches too, obviously against Sammy D as well too. And he has proven to be a threat, an up and coming threat, early stage of his career, going for those types of matches as well. And it's nice to see him getting his flowers early on in a sense as well, because at the end of the day, with someone like Kane Noonan there, sort of being and having the matches that he's having so far in his career, and that especially on the big stages now as well, and he's stepping up to the plate, the sculpted one, and he's not called the sculpted one for no reason at all.
No, absolutely not. He is who he says he is. He actually portrays himself really, really well, and you can believe that as well. You can believe that. Can you even imagine? Because he's a babyface now, right? And you can see he's friendly with the crowd. He's friendly, he has a connection, and he gets along with all the kids and all stuff like that. But can you imagine if he was more of a cocky, kind of kid who thought he was better than everyone else, man? I think that would even make it better for him, for his character and for his career, because he can go I'm the best, nobody can be me, and no one can, stop me and everything like that. And it's just, this is what's exciting about even Keane Noonan, because you don't know what he's going to be doing that will make you go, oh shit, it's going to be, one of the most interesting things in whatever he does.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, you just touched on that subject there with Kane and the way he has portrayed himself, and the way he could possibly portray himself as a heel, at some point in his career as well, just being that, that cocky, arrogant kind of, sort of the one that, that guy that just just takes no shit from anybody, that kind of thing, and that, so at the end of the day, and that's what you'd like to look for in a heel character, and that, and one day he could kind of have that, that added extra, gimmick to himself as well, and just be more, just be more himself, and as well, the sculpted one, Kane, and being, the young and brass up and coming superstar that he's going to be, and he's going to take the world by storm. I honestly believe he could be, as I say, when we talked about Jay, whenever he sort of came into things, and at that young age as well, and he's still young as well. So the fact that we were talking about Kane in the same breath as Jay, and that fact just shows you how far he's come in his career so far to date.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But just to even touch on about what you said about Jay, you even look at LJ Cleary and him going to Japan, and he's gone over there and has done really, really well and has made his debut in New Japan. He was also in the same position as Keane. He was a kid who was starting off, who was getting, unbelievable chances in Ireland with some of the best in the nation. Then he went to Europe, and then he explored himself there, and then he got really noticed, and he was one of the best wrestlers, most known wrestlers in Ireland. And it was so good to him to go over to Japan and get that new experience, because we've seen before with Finn Balor, Becky Lynch, they've gone over to Japan and have really made a name for themselves over there. So I mean, for LJ to do that was brilliant, and you never know, it could be the same with Keane Noonan. He could go down that same route and could be beneficial for him.
Exactly, he could indeed. And as I say, after that match, as I say, obviously, the match itself was a good match against Kuro,
Yeah.
and as I say, obviously it was Kuro who did pick up that victory over Kane Noonan. I'm talking about young and up and coming superstars. Another one, Butch Murphy, taking on the detached Terry Thatcher.
Yeah.
And my mind was marred by something that we will sort of talk about as well, which was the injury to Butch during that match as well, which looked
awful.
It looked really, really horrible when you seen it. And say good luck, Butch Murphy, on your recovery, and we cannot wait to see you get back to the ring as soon as you can, because you're going to be sorely missed, not just in the ring, but as a person as well around the scene as well. But the match itself, it was a decent match. Obviously, say, both of them coming out and having a bit of fun to start off with, and that, passing the old cowboy hat around the place. And that,
Foxy was loving it as well. I say Foxy wanted to wear the hat for the match, but he couldn't.
and the worst about it was Terry looked as if he was Clint Eastwood for a second, like,
literally.
Sort of, Terry Eastwood, like, sort of all he needed a horse and he'd be sorted. 2 pistols.
Yeah, literally.
Terry. But the match itself was a good match. But I'm, like I say, really looking forward to seeing what Butch Murphy does when he comes back, because he is a player.
No, it definitely is. Like, it was a good match and all. And there's one thing though I have taken away from it that could be very good in the future, and it could be exciting for what Butch Murphy could do. And I don't know if you noticed it as well with Jamie Collins' commentary during the match. And he spoke a lot about Boots and how he is very nice, and he knows that he can be very aggressive, very much like a powerhouse who can do a lot more things than he should, but because he's being too nice and he's being with the crowd and it's very loved, Jamie Coleman thinks that that's the wrong direction for him, that he should be, very much like it's all about him and he shouldn't be caring about everyone else. And I got a little glimpse of that at the end of the match. And don't get me wrong, right? I will say about Boots, he done so well to continue wrestling that match. And as you said, speedy recovery to you, Boots, because it was a horrendous injury. It's never nice to see. And speedy recovery. I hope you get to the ring sooner rather than later. But the end of the match, when Terry Thatcher tried to shake his hand and he brushed it off, I was like, okay, that is interesting, because of what Jamie Coleman was going on about during the match and the way Boots was. And if this is a change of the guard, if this is the change of direction for Boots Murphy for when he comes back as a potential heel, my God, I think you could be seeing OTT champion. And I'm not even exaggerating, because we know Boots, I know, Martin, who's a big fan of Boots and all, and has been on the podcast, he knows how big he can be. But if he used to be a heel, oh my God, Rob, he will be a monster.
Like I've seen him wrestle sort of as pretty much almost as a heel type of thing, sort of playing that kind of character at Hard Knocks a bit, and you could see that kind of almost evolve on a next level basis on OTT as well. And I think seeing that at OTT would literally be next level. But for Butch, I think it would take him far. It really would take him far. It would take him so far. I mean, you're talking, you are talking OTT champion level. Is it too early for him? Honestly, no, it's not. People might say that it would be because Murphy, and he's only been in the game, for a year or two, and that. But for me, is it too early? No, it's not, because you've seen how well that he can do against the big players in the game, and for him to step up, turn heel, and even get another challenge with Terry again, because that needs to go again, for sure, once he comes back. But yeah, I can definitely see big bright future for big Butch Murphy. There's no question about that.
Yeah, and you think about what they could really do with him being a heel, because I know it even went back to Kane being a heel, but it makes much more sense now after watching Sanity for Boots to be, because it could play off the injury too, because it could go to oh, I was injured, nobody understand how this injury has made me who I am now, and it could really play onto that, and then it could definitely play onto this monster heel that he can play, and then he could go and sniff for the world title. And I already know he will be so dominant. And I know this is a big show, but if you remember when Walter was the OTT champion, how dominant he was, he could be to that level too. He could be someone who could be unstoppable. Nobody can stop Boots Murphy. Yeah, you say about his age and how long he's been wrestling for, but if you're as good as he can be, man, you don't care how long you're wrestling for. If you've got it, you've got it. And Boots Murphy definitely has it. And if it can be in that sort of character, man, it gets me excited.
Yeah, very, very much so. And again, we just want to wish Butch Murphy a very speedy recovery and get well soon. And say,
get well soon, Boots. Honestly, if you are watching this, and if you are a viewer of Weekly Controversies, We thank you for the support. We thank you for watching. But most importantly, speedy recovery, mate.
Indeed. Couldn't have said it better myself. So I say obviously, so Terry Thatcher did pick up the win with that match as well, going into that. So moving on to the next match, and this is a story that has got quite interesting over the past sort of couple of weeks, and that with the whole BDE and Limo thing, with obviously stealing his dog. And this, you could see the anger in Limo when he came to the ring. As a dog owner myself, I would be absolutely cheesed off with somebody stealing my dog, so I can understand pain and his agony over this. But for JB to bring out dog biscuits in a OTT arena, come on, that is just low.
Yeah.
And then he brings out
JB doesn't give a fuck, though. He doesn't give a fuck.
Does not. And you know what? I love that about his character, but at the same time, it's like, come on, like, don't anger Limo already more than it is. But you know something? I'm really looking forward to seeing the lads back at ScrapperMania based off of this. And Jayo, you probably know more about the lads flats than I probably would. So I'll let you run a wee bit about this as well.
I think if Tony was here, I think he'd be better than me because of see, I haven't really been there from the start, but they're the originals. They're literally the originals of OTT. With Session Mo, Paddy and all, Wokey. They literally the originals, and for them to get a match at ScrapperMania is definitely exciting, especially against BDE. And it's interesting that they had this match, because I was thinking, why is JB in a match? I'd rather him be in the side of the ring, and cheer on, give instructions to be able. I mean, we got the match anyway, but as you said, it's all building up to ScrapperMania, and it is definitely going to be interesting to see what they do in this match. And do you know what? I said months ago about BDE should be taken a lot more seriously. So I mean, for them to lose the gauntlet match, which we will get into, for them to basically look weak against guys who haven't really been around OTT in the last couple of years, unless like the Rumble and stuff. But I mean, I just wish I'd see better from BDE. I really would. Like, they're my guys. They'll always be my guys. And it's so disappointing to know that, they're going to be kind of underdogs going into that match, because, the lads from the flats have the experience. They've had the stadium show. They know what it's really like. And BDE, even though they haven't really got momentum in, winning matches lately, they need to be amongst the not world title, sorry, but the tag team division championship picture, but they aren't. And they're just in a filler match because of the return of the lads. But I mean, listen, it's brilliant to see the lads back. It's going to be a good match, but I just think it's going to be a disappointing night for BDE.
Yeah, I think you could be right, because I mean, with the lads coming back at Scrapper, the crowd's going to be behind them, and that BDE won't have a chance. If there's toilet roll, they're certainly not going to have a chance as well. If Joe knows what he's doing and brings his box of toilet rolls with him, what's going to happen.
Yeah. Oh, but honest to God, right? There better not be toilet roll. Listen, it was good not seeing the toilet roll in Sanity. Please leave it that way, Joe. If you're listening, please, no toilet roll.
Yeah, definitely not, because I took a toilet roll in the eye the last time, and my eye was red raw for like pretty much a lot of
that was some shot, in fairness.
It was a great shot. I mean, it was a good shot, but I mean, I guess you can't hurt the golden one like that. Like, I'll take a
poor golden one.
You're right. I had to get a golden glass eye put in and everything. Ridiculous.
You fucking paint the gold everywhere, man.
You're right. It's like I had to put this mic in where my eye socket was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so as I say, so it was. But that match, as I say, was. I wouldn't say spoiled, but it was made interesting. With obviously, obviously Limo did pick up the win by disqualification, but it was interesting to see, obviously, Session Moth coming to the rescue, but also Corey Zero coming out to actually attack Session Moth as well. So could that into something towards ScrapperMania going forward? I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so.
It could be, Rob, but it's the fact is that there's no one else for Martina. There literally isn't, and it's like because we know the Debbie Cartel, fucking rivalry, and how amazing that was, and it all came to an end, last year in the Christmas show, but there hasn't really been that since, and we've seen the match with Corey Zero in Belfast, and it was a good match, but that's the only competitor that they have there, so it's really much like. When you think about ScrapperMania, you think about the big shows. Martina is always the attraction, but coming into it, she's not really the attraction. And it's not her fault, I'm not saying that it is, but it's the fact that she has nobody there other than Corey Zero to rub off and have a story with and have an unbelievable match because they haven't really built up anything with Corey. It's just the fact of, oh, this is who we have left. And it's disappointing for, the women's division in OTT because you want to see more, stars, but there just isn't.
Yeah, and that has been the issue, I think, with the women's division in OTT for a while, in a sense too, because there's so much potential where they could actually bring, even if it's bringing people over and not the challenge for the belt, things like that, having, some up and comers coming up, as well too. And so it's just about trying to build them up better and then getting them through the ranks as well and getting them up and building something, whether, obviously with Celine, we're seeing Celine over, picking up obviously the GN championship, but obviously she's obviously was held up at gunpoint, and obviously she was like robbed of that championship as well. But as I say, it is a very very thin, wafer thin sort of like, with the division, for OTT and the women's division as well. But as I say, it'll be interesting to see whether or not Session Moth does get a challenger for her title, which I would imagine she probably will. But it'll be interesting over the next couple of weeks.
He wouldn't have Martina out Scrapper. There's no simple way. Like, she's going to be in Wolves. She's definitely going to be in Dublin. It's the fact of that. They're not going to leave her out. Because then what does she do then for Belfast? Because you always build the show upon the show on the weekends as well. So she'd be definitely on. And as you said, Corey Zero is definitely the choice.
Yeah, definitely. So as I say, so we are talking Sanity. And we can't talk about the Sanity show without Sanity themselves. By God, do they look unbelievable together as a threesome? Threesome being maybe the wrong user, but
threesome was the wrong word, mate. Threesome was the wrong word.
Potentially.
Oh my God! I don't want to see them lads in the threesome. No offense, this is not my thing.
But I don't think. I don't think you'd want to be in a threesome with these guys, that's for sure.
They're a good trio. They're a good trio.
They are a good trio indeed. And they put Renzo, Zarkov, and the Sam through their paces. The Sam, I love the Sam. I really do. I thought obviously anytime I see him, he just gets more funnier the more I see him. And I know sometimes people don't like the funny characters, but when you see the Sam, you can't just not love the Sam.
The Sam is harmless, and I feel sorry for him sometimes, always being with Zarkov and fucking, Renzo, always with them, but it was to make up for the Sanity match anyway. But listen, you don't really have much to say about that. It was just a feeder for Sanity. It's their show. It's them who were on, just before intermission, and it was all right. This is the thing. If we're going to talk about this match, we're most likely just going to be talking about Sanity in WWE and what they could have done, in the main roster, but they weren't given a chance. And you look at what already had coming out in the show and what they done and everything. And of course, they were having fun, like everyone was having fun and everything. But it's the fact of, like, they were so believable in NXT, and you're like, holy shit, these could have been bigger than what they should have been, in the main roster, but they just never got given the chance.
Exactly, and that was the thing, because I remember even seeing them, seeing their SmackDown debut, and thought like, oh, here we go, this is going to be awesome, and then they were just ruined. And that, but it always seems to happen with a good group when they pull them from the likes of NXT over and bring them up. They don't just know how to sometimes deal with that on a main roster compared to what they do on the likes of NXT. I mean, you see what happened with the Undisputed Era. The same thing kind of happened there, where Adam Cole was obviously the biggest one of the group, but as a group of four, had to be careful what way I said that. As a group of four, they ran NXT basically the way Raw have been running OTT for the past 2 years, exactly the same way. But they got that push going to the main brand, and you seen like the reaction that they were getting, even whenever they were pulled up by Triple H and Shawn Michaels as part of NXT against Raw and SmackDown for War Games. You seen the reaction that they were getting there, and it was massive. But yet, once War Games had finished and things like that, it just went stale for them, and that's when they started going, their own ways again, and then going on the AEW and what have you after that. But again, it's really hard, I think, sometimes coming up from the likes of NXT as a group, going onto the main roster, even as a singles superstar as well. I mean, you look at, as I say, like obviously you've got, what do you call him, went up from NXT to SmackDown, Carmelo Hayes. So you've seen Carmelo Hayes.
Carmelo, yeah.
And he's doing very well for himself on SmackDown, I'm not going to lie. Which is really good to see, because, having matches against LA Knight and having really top quality matches as well, too, which obviously we're not surprised about, because, as I say, it's, you can't have HIM without him being in the middle of it all. He is one who doesn't miss.
No, he doesn't. But yeah, going back to Sanity, would like to see them back actually. They'd be definitely a group that should be definitely going to a lot more of the shows, because I've seen they do progress shows and stuff like that, which is good. So I mean, if Sanity can be an independent faction, I mean, that would be good for everyone involved.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, you have had like, obviously Damo going down to to Cork for RCW and things like that. You've had Eric Young down for RCW as well. On top of that, do you know what I mean? So, why not run more independent shows with them? Across the UK and Ireland. Do you know what I mean? Because they are a force to be reckoned with, and the force is strong with them as well.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, so it was, now, funny enough, in the match itself, it was Damo that pinned Renzo Rose. And obviously, we do bring that up because we had announced at the show that on the 11th, I think it's 11th of August, the OTT Belfast show, we are going to see Damo challenging Renzo Rose for the OTT NLW Championship. Which,
well, yeah, it was supposed to be WrestleRama, wasn't it? But then that got cancelled. So
exactly.
I mean, I just can't wait for Renzo's fucking title reign to be over. Honestly, I can't wait. I've been saying it for ages. It's just been boring. It's been the same finishes when he's defended it. This rule of no Irish wrestler can fucking have a match with it because, BQ lost. It's a stupid rule that he put in because it made the title reign worse. And yeah, he brought in a lot of imports, for matches and stuff like that, but it just never really worked. And for Damo to, listen, anyone that says differently about this match just needs to get their head checked, because Damo's winning. There's no way Damo's losing against Renzo Rose, because they're building for him to win the belt. And for when he wins the belt, I can't wait to see what he does with the NLW Championship. And it should make for some interesting, not only storytelling, because there could be some history with other wrestlers, but also some brilliant matches. So honestly, I can't wait for the Belfast show so I can see Big Damo finally win the NLW title.
Yeah, it'll be nice for an American to win the OTT NLW Championship.
Oh no, that's so bullshit though. Do you know what? I actually go back to that episode with me, you, Martin, and Tony, about when you and Tony going down to Belfast, and that stupid fucking decision on Big Damo picking WrestleRama to have the belt. And I think at the time it would have been 7 months from that show, from when we done that episode. And it's like, why that long? And it's the same now. Like, I don't know why they even left it so late up until August. They could have just went, right, we're cancelling it. and then defended it, let's say, at the Sanity show or something, do you know what I mean? Just to get the belt off Renzo, because honestly, he does not need to hold that belt any longer. Just give
No,
the belt to Damo, because it's inevitable that's going to happen. So,
yeah,
yeah, still boggles my mind why they made that decision. But anyway, yeah, so we'll just have to wait another few more weeks and then it'll happen.
exactly. And I think everyone is in agreement with the fact that no one wants to have Renzo Rose, unfortunately, as their OTT NLW champion. But
No
speak.
offense, Renzo.
No, I love Renzo. But that's another story for another time. So obviously moving on. So obviously, we are moving on to the tag team gauntlet match, which was to determine the new number one contenders for the OTT Tag Team Championship, who will face the Social Elite at ScrapperMania. And this was an interesting sort of setup, with obviously the Freshness Day were the ones that came out first, along with BDE. And I say, really, every time I see Martin and Fabio in the ring, and that, as in Martin Steers and Fabio in the ring, not the other Martin that we both know and love, because we know he can fight well as well and jump and do 450s everywhere, all over the place too. Rumor has me told. And as I say, but I just love seeing them, and I know they were repping the golden one on the Sanity show as well, seeing that in their gold jackets. I was like, thanks lads for that.
Yeah.
As always. But yeah, really really good match, really enjoyable match. Bit shocked that obviously BDE were the ones that took the first L in the match itself. Jay, do you want to show your interest with that?
As I said, like I've been wanting BDE to be taken seriously. For them to be the first ones to come in and lose, it's like, man, like we get onto the Daryl Lynch and Santos thing, right? Because that's another thing I think is stupid. But anyway, I mean, like the Gauntlet match as a thing is very good. I would have liked even another tag team to be in it, just to make the match actually more interesting. To go, oh, because like you look at the Freshness, right? The Freshness, since their return and then Jay Money being back with them, they have been one of the best teams in OTT. They've been entertaining. They've had some brilliant matches, and you know, it's like they're deserving to be in the spot they were in. And for them to pick up the win against BDE in the Gauntlet match, it was like, right, you know what they were going to do, you know, what direction they were going to take with the match with the Freshness and stuff like that. So, I mean, you know, honestly, the Freshness has been brilliant. And for them to get the first win in the Gauntlet, you know, it was brilliant for them. But then, you know, Santos and Daryl Lynch came in, and I just don't get them being in the tag team match. I just don't get it, because like they are having a match and it's all because of Daryl's ma, and I just think all that is very much that like they're wasting Santos, you know, because we have said for fucking ages for Santos to be in the NLW picture, and with Damo possibly winning, which not possibly, he is going to win. You know, having them to have a match for the belt is going to be unbelievable, you know, for possibly a ScrapperMania next year or whatever. It's going to be amazing to see. Can't wait for it. But that literally, like, they're what you call it, wasting Santos, you know, with this Daryl Lynch thing. I'm not caring about it because of the fact. And yeah, you know, it was inevitable that the Freshness were going to win, but I just hated that the reason that they lost was because of the ma. So listen, the Freshness got that win anyway, and delighted. But I was quite shocked then here when Toy Claude came out, you know, the man that doesn't lie, the man that tells the truth, the man who has the most viewed video on the FiveMarks YouTube channel, which is amazing. He comes out and literally goes, oh, no, there is a 4 team. And I was like, oh shit, so there is a 4 team, lovely. And it's Los Mitadores. I was like, fucking hell, Los Mitadores are back against the fucking Freshness. I was like, yes. Los Mitadores was out, but looked very familiar, Rob.
Like I couldn't believe it myself. I was like, hold on a second. I was like, I had a shirt made saying, I've never seen Los Matadores and Martin Steers and Fabio in the same ring till that evening.
Yeah, I know, it's fucking mad. But have you not noticed that one of them got very buff overnight? Got very jacked.
Do you know
what?
Looked
a bit shorter as well.
To be fair, they knew what they had their work cut out for in the Freshness, and that, so they knew what they were doing. I mean, mean, they are luchadors, like, you know what I mean. So you can tell how good they are in the ring, and there's no question about it. To me, that could have been an interesting match. You know, you had those three teams in the ring. You would have had the freshness, you would have had Los Mopadores, and you would have the social elite in the ring at the same time. That would have been a banger of a tag team match. Banger.
Would have been absolutely. But yeah, and yeah, listen, with those four guys, they did put on a great, match for just the four of them, and then the fresh lads then bet them, and were number one contenders to the social elite. But then when they were celebrating that win, what did we cop in the background, Rob?
You know, I did see. You know what? If I'm honest, I think they were there after the match had finished. You see, and then somebody had just threw their masks there straight away. That it
I
has to
think
be.
so.
Yeah, I mean,
No,
you,
not the social elite being Los Mipadores, no.
no, I did see Ty Claude having two masks, and he threw them to the two guys as soon as like he got backstage. Like so, and Ty never lies. We know
I
Ty
mean,
never
yeah, he doesn't lie. I mean, yeah, that's true. I mean, he does tell the truth, the whole truth, and
and
nothing but
nothing
the truth.
but
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. But listen. Anyway, talking about Freshness versus the Social Elite, it's gonna be one of the matches of the ScrapperMania weekend, and I cannot wait for it. It's gonna be amazing. It's basically four guys who, for the last year, have been amazing as tag teams, and for them to have a match is actually pretty unpredictable because the Social Elite have actually had a great reign with the belts, and it's so actually freshening to see. Freshen, get it? So freshening to see. But listen, it's gonna be a brilliant match, and I'm actually so excited to see the Freshness get a proper opportunity at those belts.
exactly. And the thing about it, we know ourselves how good the Social Elite are.
Oh yeah, they're a great tag team.
We know how good the Freshness are as a tag team as well. And when you throw in the fact that you're going to have Ty Claude at one side and you're going to have Jay Money at the other side, the entertainment value you're going to have between the two of them at rings will add more to it as well, which I'm really looking forward to. Which will be, and as long as Fossey does not bar them both from ringside, that match will be amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
I do, but I know they've faced off before, but I honestly, this match, with it being ScrapperMania, could actually go down as one of the best matches on the calendar year for Irish wrestling.
Oh, do you know what? That's not even a stupid statement, Rob. That's actually a bold statement because it could be. It's the fact of like the two brilliant tag teams, they're both on brilliant momentum. That's what makes unbelievable wrestling matches. And then you have, as you said, Ty Claude in one corner for the Social Elite, Jay Money in the corner for Freshness, who two guys who can spit on the mic. They are really, really good to hype that tag team, and it will be. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if it's even the match of the night. It's literally like, oh, you don't even know really what to say because it's like, right, let the match just happen and let the magic happen, honestly. And whoever, I think even if the Social Elite were to lose, I think they'll win as well because to know that like they're going to be basically having one of the matches of the whole year, I mean, they'll take that any day of the week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But I think they would rather take the tag team gold back with themselves, and as I say, and you've got the added bonus, possibly, I don't know if this is true, but you've got the added bonus of possibly Sir Paul Tracy, Lord of the Manor, potentially with the Social Elite. And could you imagine that if they came out together as a trio like that?
Mm-hmm. It's long overdue. It's long overdue, Paul Tracy coming back because we actually been wanting them to be back with the Social Elite for ages. So I mean, it will be great for him to come back and encourage the boys to, go there and beat the fuck out of the Freshness.
It would be, and especially like,
and also get the rent as well. You know what I mean? All them poshies.
Oh yes, indeed. we all love the Social Elite. There's no denying that. But as I say, so obviously yes, it was the Freshness that took the win to become the new number one contenders to take on the Social Elite for the OTT Tag Team Championship at ScrapperMania 2024. Moving on to the main event, and this one
is the one where we're going to be talking for ages for, literally.
Yeah.
Well, not particularly the match, but ScrapperMania.
Yeah. I think this had more build probably in a sense towards ScrapperMania than probably most in a sense with obviously the fact that between JB and Liam's match. But with this match, you had MLD representing the 0121, taking on the Draw leader himself, the Snake, who is always on top.
Yeah, he's not on top at the moment.
The moment, but come the end of ScrapperMania, it will be Sammy D lifting this OTT, beautiful OTT World Heavyweight Championship above his shoulder.
Keep dreaming, Rob. Keep dreaming. Honestly, mate, you want to go to sleep and actually keep dreaming that, because it's not happening. But anyway, go on. You were saying in the match, yeah, it was all right though, wasn't it? Wasn't anything special. Like,
it was a match that always looked good on paper. The match itself, I thought it was a decent enough match. Obviously, with things in mind going away with it. But I was shocked, obviously, to see who it was who took the loss in that match, building in the ScrapperMania. And that's what kind of threw me a bit when I watched it back. I was going like, okay, and then seeing what unfolded after it, which we will get into after we discuss the match as well. But the match itself, as I say, it was a solid enough match. As I say, obviously you had Jay return as well with the leader of the Draw, Sammy Day, as well at ringside, making things awkward and interesting at the same time, but could play a factor in what could unfold at ScrapperMania.
Yeah, definitely could. And it's, you know what, Jay's kind of the Jey Uso in the whole bloodline thing. He's very much, he doesn't know what side he wants to be on. Now, we know he's going to be in the match with the Draw against BQ and the mystery team that Barry has, coming into the match. But it is the fact of what Jay is going to be like in this match, it's ScrapperMania, you don't know what he's going to do. Is he going to turn on the Draw? Is he going to stick with the loyalty with Sam and, try and get Sam back to having the OTT World title back in the Draw? Will he go on his own? And Jay is more like, as I said, the Uso in this, he's the MVP. He's the guy who you don't know what he's going to do. And that's what makes it compelling storytelling. It's the fact of, Jay is due a big moment in his, kind of career in OTT. He deserves to be in it, title picture, for the OTT World title. And it's like, you just don't know what he's gonna do. You just don't know.
And that's sometimes it's the beauty of it at the same time, but sometimes it's also the kind of the Achilles heel of what actually could happen for the Draw, not just for the Draw itself, but for Jay himself as well, because we know how good Jay is. We know how good the Draw have been over the past, almost 2 years at the brand OTT for. But the fact that, like, you throw that element in, of no one really knows what Jay's really going to do here.
What's his mind thinking? What you have to think about that. What is he really thinking? Because it could be all over the place, but it could be this is what he's going to do, and nobody knows what he's going to do though.
Exactly, because you look at the triple threat that they had, obviously, for the OTT Championship, where Sammy Day had the plan, stick to the plan. OTT title stays in the Draw. Don't lose it. Don't do something stupid. What did Jay go and do? Something stupid. He'd done a 450 through the table on Sammy D. Then the next thing, 5 minutes later,
he went into business for himself though as well. You know that. If this was like, if this was Jay still in the triple threat match, it could have been a different outcome. But because he went into business for himself, this could also be the same as well, Rob. It could be literally going into business for himself. Nobody is going to stand in his way, like,
And that's just it. I mean, is it a fact that could he go by himself? Does he turn on Sam on the Draw for that simple fact? Does he turn because he doesn't want Sam to be the champion? He wants Barry to get that moment. Does he turn and help Barry, as in legitimate, as in goes with him? We don't know. That's the element that we're in. The element of the we don't know what he's going to do, and that, as I say, that's what we love about this. What we watch, what we love watching, and that is the fact that what is he going to do? Is he going to do the right thing? Is he going to stay with? Is he going to stay loyal? Is he going to stay loyal to the Doyle? and that, with that sort of thing. So you just don't know what he's going to do. I mean, draw for life, but I'd say, how long is life for Jay?
Yeah. How long is he gonna take it until he goes fuck everyone and then just does his own thing? But yeah, but we get even into the end of the match, right? Because I mean, man like Darius won, but I mean, I think Sammy should have won it because, and this is just what I think anyway. I know Sammy hasn't had a good last few matches and he has lost. And he hasn't been grateful because he lost the belt to Trent and he's basically turned on Barry because he thought Barry was the weak link in the draw. Even though we know we could see it, Sam is. Even Toy Cloth, who, as you said, never lies, has gone up to Sam and has even said, "You're probably the weak link," and he doesn't want to take that. He doesn't want to take the criticism. Even though Sammy D has been one of the best Irish wrestlers probably in the last 5 years, he cannot take the criticism of the time could be probably up. It's literally like as what B said. If he wins, it's the end of the draw, but it might not even be the end of the draw. Could it be the end of Sam? We don't know because we don't know what could be his direction if he was to lose at ScrapperMania. You think about, oh well, he's gonna win, he's gonna take back his belt. How would you know that if he has guys behind him who don't even want to be behind him? And in Jay, in Adam, does Charlie even want to be behind him? You just don't have the trust anymore from people who you thought were your brothers, but because it's the fact of he's gone kind of, I wouldn't say spiral out of control, because that wouldn't be the right words, but I just think it's just been a tough couple of months for Sam. And if you ask me, I think it is the beginning of the end, but not just the draw, but for Bobby Sam.
I do see your point in that. The only argument I would have with saying is be right for business when it comes to the title. And as I've said before, the pop will be big. If B was to go ahead and sort of, take down the draw with his team of God knows who he's going to bring. But
oh, I say Barry has a few trick up his sleeves.
Oh, he does, all right. And that's the thing. That's another thing we don't know, and how the draw are going to prepare for that. They're not going to know either. So they're going to be like us, finding out there and then who they're going to be facing, and like the way we're going to be finding out when Barry comes out and goes, "Hey oh," and he comes out with his team, and then that's it. You know what I mean? So you just don't know who's going to have. You don't know who's going to have up his sleeve. You might have a rough idea, but sometimes those ideas just go away and it comes out all completely different. Do you know what I mean? So, but Barry, I know plan A to Z through with that. But however, I cannot see a world where Be Cool is the OTT World Heavyweight Champion. And that's just the thing. And even if he was even if he had the slightest of chance to beat Trent Seven, to beat the draw on the same night, to me, in a sense, that's almost like his Daniel Bryan moment when he won at WrestleMania, by obviously defeating Triple H and then obviously going in to win the championship. That will be his Daniel Bryan moment in that. And that'll be the pop that he'll get. But it's just going to be, is he going to be a one-hit wonder if he does do that and lose the belt straight away to the likes of Sammy D? Potentially Jay, if he goes his own way as well. And that's another factor to play into that as well, because who would be next in line for the title if B was to have it? But again, I honest to God can't be a world where Be Cool is running around with the title around his waist doing this all day. Oh no, I just cannot see.
Rob, it's gonna be the reality come August, right? Come August 10th, when it hits ScrapperMania, when we see the draw finally end after Barry bringing his super team, because we don't know. I have a few guesses, but I'm gonna leave that to another episode for when we talk about Scrapper. Anyway, I have a few guesses anyway, but the reality is, this is the thing, right? He is the underdog in this. And when you're the underdog, you have nothing to lose. Barry is in the height of his life. He's literally on top of the world. He's on top of OTT. Doesn't matter if Trent's the fucking OTT world champion who doesn't appear every now and often. He is at every show B Kill. He is the biggest attraction in OTT. Everyone loves B. Even fucking the people that, as you, as everyone else who are big Sammy fans, have that little soft spot for B because you know you want them to do well. And he's going to go into ScrapperMania not only beating and ending the draw and possibly ending Sammy's OTT career, but he's also going to go in the biggest moment in OTT history, the biggest underdog against Trent Seventh, who, yes, even though he has been the OTT champion and has done really nothing, he knows how to win big matches. I will give that about Trent. He knows how to win the big matches. And it's going to be very interesting to see how B Kill over does, not overdose, but how does he get himself to beat Trent Seventh? And I cannot wait to see all these faces. But when B Kill runs around, does the pose with the OTT world title strapped around his waist. Joe can't do anything about it. Sam can't do anything about it. Draw can't do anything about it. And none of yous, draw marks, can do anything about it. Because Dirty Barry is going to be OTT world champion. And you better believe it.
Well, you see, I know something that even you don't know.
What?
I'm keeping it to myself. All will be revealed come ScrapperMania. But mark my words, that title is not going to be around Be Cool. Trust me. I said it before.
You know what? Barry's not much of a mad bastard. He'll probably take your belt and claim the both of them and be the undisputed OTT world champion. I wouldn't fucking blame him doing that.
He could try, but as always, he would fail because the golden one, just like the draw, just like Sammy D, will always be on top.
Yeah, they're not on top at the moment, and they're not going to be on top anytime soon. But we'll see anyway. It's in 4 weeks. Do you know what I was actually going to say? As a show, I mean, I'm gonna actually be honest with you, right? When it comes to the OTT and its shows the last couple of months, I mean, they haven't really been building up a lot other than the BQ storylines, but I think the shows are very much like, right, this is just kind of a road to the ScrapperMania show and it's leading up to the big show. And we haven't had a great show since March, if you ask me. I'm not saying they've been horrible, but the fact that they've been more filler shows to just build up to ScrapperMania just goes to show that I think they have some big things coming up for Scrapper and they could do some big stuff even for anniversary, because they're the two shows you're looking at and going, right, they could do something, really monumental. When we know possibly if they were to go down the BQ route for, ScrapperMania, what are they going to do for anniversary for B? Who's going to be at 10th anniversary? There could be some big names, you never know. But I just think the last couple of months in OTT have been just more filler shows. And I'm not saying they've been bad, but I just would have liked them to be in more, how can I say it, more kind of interesting, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I can see what where you're coming from. I mean, like the big, like I mean, yeah, like I mean, obviously, when we watched the show back in March, whenever Trent, as I did,
I think Trent's the big reason, though. I just think it's the fact that he's champion, and that's why I was so disappointed when he won. Because it's like you just know nothing's going to be really other than the whole draw and BQ stuff. Nothing to me has gotten other than probably the fashion has as well. Nothing has really made me go from everything got to do with the show. And I've always known OTT to be like that. Like I said to you, I'm getting sick of the NLW stuff. BDE haven't been taken interest in. I haven't been taken seriously and nobody's interested. You know what I mean? It's just frustrating to see because I love elements of OTT. Everything got to do with the shows, but I just think that he could have took in different directions for the storylines, but he didn't. I think it's more very focused on, the big one, which is, draw versus B.
And the thing about it is one thing that sort of irked me a bit a good few months ago was the fact that now this obviously isn't like, B versus draw type thing, and it was more so the fact that they put a singles championship on the line in a tag team match when they put the GN on the line in a tag team match. That to
Yeah,
me,
that title's been passed around as what Tony said, like a prosy. But I mean, that title hasn't even been taken seriously this year. Like literally, the NLW Championship has lost credibility. Needs to be back credibility when Big Demo wins it. And then you have fucking the women's division not really being interesting. There hasn't really been anyone to even have a match with Martina. It's literally like, where's Anita Vaughn? I don't know if she's injured. You know what I mean? I don't know where she's gone. So I mean, it's like, where, like, other than the big main event, it's not just the main event as well. It's the other things as well. Like they're the stuff that I want to be interested in, and I'm taken kind of back by them. It's just pretty much I'd rather watch it for, the end.
yeah.
I feel like it's disappointing, but
yeah, it's like I mean, like, don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously the show, the Sanity show was, to me, was a solid show for what it was.
I think it was okay. It's not. I'm not saying these are bad shows. I wish more elements of the last couple of shows that I've seen anyway could have been more interesting. You think about, as I said to you there, right? I think out the Sanity show, the end with Be Cool and Sam, the freshness, they're the two things I looked at and went, oh, they're going in the direction. But I mean, yeah, you had these matches that were filler and they were just put onto the show. But I mean, you look at the things that I mentioned, and it's like there's nothing really that I have excitement for fucking, ScrapperMania other than them two matches.
Yeah, and
three
that's
matches.
Yeah, exactly. Because I mean, obviously, yes, we're going to have probably a couple of more matches announced and that, and you probably will have one or two more announcements coming up towards ScrapperMania as well. Plus you're going to have, obviously you've got the last from the Flats taking on BDE, and then you're going to
I just
have.
think the reason why I'm not excited for that match because I know BDE I don't think is going to win. I just don't think that. I just think it's more for the Flats to win.
Yeah, I mean, more set up for that because I mean, why bring them back not to win the match? That's what I would get from that. It's like if you're just bringing them back for the sake of having a moment at ScrapperMania and you're not going to win it. Now don't get me wrong. I mean, the shock factor for BDE to win that now at ScrapperMania against the lads at Flats would be, it'd be great for them to get.
It wouldn't surprise me if they had Corey Zero and Martina involved in this match as well, and the OTT Women's Championship. It wouldn't surprise me. It's just like, right, we don't know what to do with these two. Put them in the match anyway. It's just. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a fucking, listen, I don't book the shows. I don't write the shows. I don't put on the shows, right? I'm just a fan. But I'm just like, I would love all elements of a show to make me interesting. And it's just some of it isn't. And that's just my opinion on it anyway. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just the bit of criticism that you need to just be honest to. And that's just what I've been criticizing.
Yeah, because I think the main bits that obviously that they've covered for coming up to ScrapperMania, they basically got the basis of that covered, but it's just the other added on bits like the women's championship and things like that. Obviously, adding the tag team championship on, on the line with the matches they've got set up for that. I think that's a big draw for that as well. Obviously the 8-man tag, which is probably going to, I would imagine it will kick off the show. Would be the 8-man
kick off the show. Sorry.
I would say the 8-man tag. I think that would be the match that would kick off the show.
Because, I'd say it will be. Yeah, absolutely.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, whoever you're going to have win it is going to obviously have. If you have that towards the end of the show, and then you're going to have the main event as being the OTT, like B would be absolutely exhausted, or Sammy would be absolutely exhausted after the match. But either way, it's still going to be a cracker of a show. To be honest, the atmosphere always is electric in the National Stadium. That's for sure. And that is one thing that I'm looking forward to getting back to is electric atmosphere for an OTT show with everyone chanting, banging on their chairs, everything, jumping up, they're standing up their chairs.
No. What was the last Scrapper show? Was Anniversary last year? Was the last Scrapper show? Oh, the last stadium show? I think it might be an Anniversary, wouldn't it?
Was it Anniversary?
Yeah. I think it was. Anniversary was the last National Stadium show.
Yeah. It wasn't.
So I mean, it's long overdue anyway. So I mean, it's going to be a great night.
Yeah, and the thing about it is too, because of obviously, this is obviously ScrapperMania normally is like kind of around March, April time, but they've obviously had to move it and things like that this year. And to have it so close before anniversary as well is kind of going to make things interesting in the build up towards the anniversary show as well, to see what they're going to do with the turn of events that could happen from the OTT World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, as I said, it's going to be in 4 weeks. If anyone hasn't got that ticket yet, if they're still available, go and get your tickets. It's going to be a show that nobody's going to want to miss. Honestly, you have Nick Nemeth, you have Danhausen, you have Mike Ball coming back, you have the biggest main event possibly in history when Barry wins against Trent. Everything is going to be unfolding on ScrapperMania weekend.
Indeed. But Jay O'Brien, take us away from this shenanigans.
Yes, so I am going to be doing the outro. Honestly, the show, if I was to actually give a rating before we end the show, it was just a filler show. It had some good elements, had some bad elements, but I mean, if I was to give a rating for it, I'd give it like let's say 6 out of 10.
Yeah,
that's just what my rating would be.
Yeah, probably about 6.5, 7. Pushing it maybe.
Yeah, but thanks everyone for watching the new episode of Weekly Controversies. I know it probably is a boring episode because it's only me and Rob, but we have tried our best, haven't we, Rob?
We have indeed, because we are the Weekly Controversies, and that is what we do. We don't just stay the best, we always stay on top, just like the draw will always remain on top.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you, we're claiming that most viewed. We are absolutely claiming it. The FiveMarks aren't claiming that video with Toy Club. We've the most viewed episode of the FiveMarks YouTube channel. But thanks everyone for watching. Hopefully we get to see more of the lads come back next week. I know Tony isn't, but I know hopefully Mark will be back, and then a few of the others. You never know. Could have some guests. You'll see next week's episode anyway. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and on TikTok at Weekly Controversies 1. Don't forget to subscribe to the FiveMarks YouTube channel, and actually don't forget to check out the FiveMarks podcast, because there's gonna be some really interesting content to coming up to ScrapperMania anyway. And we're gonna do previews, we're gonna do predictions and everything, all that with ScrapperMania. So I've been Jayo Brown, that's been the beautiful Rob Gold, and we are signing off.